I know this is at the end of the day, but here we are. I'm Terry Smith. I'm Global Partner Solutions Director at SUSE, and I work with a lot of great partners to develop solutions together and figure out how we can go to market. One of the great pleasures that I have is working with all of our partners. That's the best part of my job, and one of those partners is Infosys. Now, you'll see there's a different name on the presentation. That's because my really amazing colleague, Karthikeyan Rajendran, was unable to make it here, and he kindly honored me by allowing me to come and at least introduce our primary speaker, Mugambika here, who will take us through our joint solutions. Okay. Before we get to that, just show you the agenda. We'll just talk a little bit about the relationship, about what we're doing together, the value that it brings, and we'll cover that in good detail and have some time at the end for questions if there are any. So why? Why SUSE and Infosys? That's a great question. I think you probably have heard throughout this entire event all of the wonderful enterprise open source solutions that SUSE is bringing to market. We make that open source community software, the innovations available and reliable for the enterprise. So that's our value add. Now, if you look at what is Infosys bringing, Infosys is bringing world-class IT services to the picture. By combining what we bring and what Infosys brings, our customers now have a much better experience getting through the deployment, ensuring that day two operations are exactly what they expect and can achieve. And they do that because SUSE and Infosys are co-innovating, not just with this solution, but many others. We're working together to ensure that we can deliver these together. Now, the other thing I would like to make sure that we talk about as we go forward with this is what is it that customers really do want? They want the reliability. They want to be able to handle all of their needs as much as possible. That's why comprehensive solutions are important. And they want to make sure that when it's done right. And I think that's what our relationship allows for our customers to achieve their goals through the services and software that we bring. Oh, and before I move on, I always have to mention, and I should say this, or should have said this earlier, you hear a lot of things here at SUSECon this week. There are probably a few key words that you've heard. One, choice. I have to put that at the top. Working with partners like Infosys, we allow our customers to have choice. The second that you've probably heard quite a bit is security. I probably should say security and compliance, but that is an incredibly important piece of the value that we together bring to our customers. So that's why SUSE and Infosys. Now, I've taken up enough time. I'd like to pass the baton to my good colleague here, Mugambika.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Terry. Hi everyone. Myself Mugambika from Infosys Container Native Platform team. So I'll be walking everyone through our use case of implementing the Container Native Platform for one of our customers. So running Kubernetes at scale. So how do we do at Infosys? So we have something called the container platform, which is a managed container platform which we are providing for our customers. So when we say a cloud native platform, what are we doing at Infosys with this? So it is an open source cloud native platform, and the major thing which we are taking into consideration here is the enterprise-grade container platform, which includes the build service, the reliability service, and any kind of an enterprise platform, what would we expect? So it is like we are providing the highly available and reliable services in both on-prem as well as the public cloud. Now, on top of it, we have an open source private cloud as well as part of this container platform, which is based on the OpenStack private cloud and Kubernetes virtualization. Now, when we say cloud native, without a cloud native ecosystem, it doesn't fare well. So we have like multiple Kubernetes operators, and we have the CI/CD pipelines, which we make use of Tecton for our CI/CD builds, and Argo CD for GitOps related automations, and the GitHub runner for cases where users want to run automated workflows from within their source code repositories. With that said, none of the cloud native platform would survive without observability. So we need comprehensive observability for the platform. So we utilize Prometheus for our metrics monitoring. Then we have the Grafana for visualization. And in terms of certain customers where they prefer to have the metrics to be retained for a longer period of time than the ones these open source tools provide by default. So we have been for extended metric storage and reporting, we have been using Thanos and Mimir for extended metric collections. And in terms of logging, so for aggregated logging and tracing, aggregated logging, actually we've been using Loki, and there are a couple of tracing tools which we use for the application teams to determine their performance of their applications, and based on that probably scale or plan their future of the application, how to scale on them. Now, last but not the least, we have the infrastructure as code. So the core principle of this platform lies on this infrastructure as code, because this enables us to provide reliable and consistent delivery, because as long as we have less things which we do manually, the less errors we are prone to in any kind of deployments. So we make use of Ansible, Terraform, and continuous version controls tools to achieve the IAC in the cloud platform. So coming to the platform overview, offerings, and features. So the Infosys container managed platform. So this use case is for one of the leading global automobile majors. So we have provided a hybrid cloud platform for them, which is basically consumed at the very first day of receiving your cluster. So it is like a ready-to-consume managed Kubernetes cluster, and on a pay-as-you-go model in both cloud as well as on-prem. Now, what are the major things when we consider here is the on-demand provisioning and pay-as-you-go model. When we say on-demand provisioning, you could get a cluster by just clicking on a couple of ServiceNow forms. It's just a single form. You just choose what are the cluster configurations you need, and then voila, your request is already placed, and hardly within, I think, couple of hours, you have the entire cluster available to you, which you can use to deploy your application on the same day. So how big is our customers' environment? So when we talk about that, we have around 120 plus clusters deployed for them, K2 clusters, and they scale across almost 1,000 plus nodes. They are having 5 data centers, 10 plus plant locations, and they run almost 40 plus applications across the world. So as you can see, they are everywhere in EMEA, NAFTA, and APAC. So this is multi-region, large-scale cluster deployments. And as we said, the pay-as-you-go model. So this is the use based on their usage. The billing is on a monthly basis for them. So there are two kind of offerings in this. One is a dedicated cluster, and another is a shared Kubernetes cluster. When we say dedicated, the entire cluster which we are building in terms of RK to the downstream cluster is for the application team to use. And in case of a shared cluster, where applications feel that either they are doing a POC or something, so they can consume a dedicated namespace where they'll have a dedicated set of worker nodes to run their applications. So even in this shared concept, they need not worry about security, because the only workloads which run on the designated worker nodes is their workloads. So that provides security, plus there is no concern of having a very large cluster when their application doesn't need that much. And the last one, which is the ready-to-consume, secure, and hardened Kubernetes cluster. So when we say ready to consume, it is like once we deliver the cluster, it is bundled with everything what they need to deploy their application. So the very first moment they receive their cluster, they can go ahead and deploy their application. There is no issues with that. So the observability, security, data operations, upgrades, everything is bundled and is managed, since it is part of the managed cluster offerings. And then we provide add-on services like the container registry, the CI/CD, and database operator. So what is the business value we are bringing with the container platform? So one is we are providing 3 different guaranteed service levels. So when we say 3, this is based on if the business is, if it is a business which is just like we say the enabled business, or if it is a critical business application, or it is a mission critical application. So based on these differentiations of how the application is classified, we have differentiated our guaranteed service levels. And then we have DevOps integration available with each and every cluster we deliver. And so many of our customers were not, the application users didn't know about Kubernetes, but they wanted to move towards containerization because it adds advantage and reduces downtime for them. So, so seeing that as one of the enablements which we can do for them, so we have been assisting all the new application users for onboarding and migrating their applications into containerized platform. And then, as we mentioned earlier, the complete lifecycle of the Kubernetes cluster is managed, and we take care of the platform level availability, incident, problem, or any kind of ITSM tasks. And platform security and compliance is also considered, because security hardened cluster with RK2 government Kubernetes distribution. So yes, that is also handled. And we have integration with other ecosystem services like managed database or NFS and so on. Here is our platform design and architecture. So as we mentioned, we have both edge, on-premise, and cloud offerings. So the Kubernetes distribution which we have used is the RKE2, and our multi-cluster management plane is Rancher. As part of container security, we have the SUSE, OPA, and Trivy running for us. And then we also have offering of service mesh. CI/CD is through Argo CD. and we have the container registry, which is Harbor, and persistent storage. So we have all the three persistent storages available through CSI integrations. So we have block, file, within file we have both CIF and NFS, and the object storage. Applications can use any of these storages available for their use with their applications. So as we have already discussed, monitoring stack includes Prometheus, Grafana, and Mimir, and logging has Loki. Then we have a database operator, which is EDB Postgres for PostgreSQL offering. And as far as the codified deployment is concerned of this cluster, managed cluster, we have an in-house developed KCAC, which is Kubernetes Cluster as Code, which we use for our automations. And we also have an in-house extension of the same KCAC as KCAC1 View and KCAC Cluster Mon, which is a single pane of glass for us. So since you already know that the entire customer base is spread across the world, we have multiple regional deployments. So, but we also need a single pane of glass visibility of all those. So that's the reason we have come up with this KCAC. And the infra deployment is through the Infosys Polycloud platform. And as we already discussed, the ordering is through the ServiceNow. So, yeah. So what are the key achievements which we have achieved with our partnership and with our customers, with the use cases which we have deployed? So as part of the CIS EIT CNP group, which has come up with the container native platform, so we have got to deploy more than 120 plus clusters, as we discussed already. All of these clusters were automatically built. So as soon as a service request of ServiceNow is created, so the Polycloud automation kicks in, and it spins up all the required VMs, load balancers, DNS, CNAMEs, everything. So once the VMs and everything is ready, we have our deployment tool, which takes care of the Rancher and Arcade 2 deployments, along with all the add-on tools of monitoring, security, and everything, including certain predefined black box test cases as well. So once everything is foolproof, tested, the cluster is delivered to the customers. And in certain regions where we don't see a lot of latency with any of the integrations, we have built a 3 master and 3 worker nodes in close to less than 20 to 25 minutes. So that has helped us 20 to 25 minutes on an on-prem building a cluster is not, it's something proud to be about, I believe. So yeah, that has encouraged us to improve our CI/CD platforms. And then as we discussed, so this is a ready-to-consume pay-as-you-go model, which is the current model where everybody is comfortable with, I believe. And yeah, so the migration, which we already talked about, we helped a couple of legacy financial and factory applications to be migrated to the container platform. And we have, as discussed, 2 different offerings of the Kubernetes cluster and 3 different service levels for them. So yeah, and the add-on services, as we discussed, so we have the Argo CD as part of the application deployment, PostgreSQL as a database operator, and Loki and Harbor for the log aggregation and registry. So We go along with the major and minor releases and bug fixes of the SUSE Rancher release cycle. So we manage the upgrades and any bug fixes or enhancements as well. And as you have seen, most of the architecture which we saw as part of the platform has open source tools. So it is fully FOSS adopted, and we have SUSE support for bug fixes for RK2 and SUSE Rancher. And of course, we have talked about the in-house tool KCAC. So our learnings when we think about what application teams need when they want to succeed in a CAS platform is an easy way to deploy their applications and a policy enforcement along with that, so that whatever they deploy, it goes through secure channels. Next comes the storage integration. Every application has different requirements for storage, and sometimes storage performance is key for application users. So, so as we already discussed, we have CSI integration for both block and file, and we have object storage availability as well. And then through our POCs and test cases are working across multiple tests for a couple of application users, what we found was we had a very effective solution in terms of performance with Portworx. Then comes the DRN backup. So yes, so critical applications also are very much in need of disaster recovery and backup. Some of it is handled at the so DRN backup, they come at different levels of our entire offering, but yes, so at the Kubernetes level or at the data level of any stateful application, so we do it through Velero and Portworx. Then observability, yes. So many of the tools which we have already discussed, and along with it, we also have the service mesh. Then I think, yeah, so all the validated Kubernetes operators, and we have end-to-end TLS communication for the applications. And those are the major, what we can say, yeah, so major application, so application teams need majorly or concentrate more on these, we believe, across our deployments to make their application deployment successful. So I think I am at the end of it. Thank you.